Hello student. So let's see that is the ventricles of the brain. So as you know, there are the four ventricles are present, that is the two lateral ventricle, then the third ventricle, then the fourth ventricle. So the two lateral ventricle, it connected with the third ventricle through, that is the interventricular foramen, then or that is also called the foramen of Monro. Then from this region, the third ventricle, the CSF that should be goes or connected with the fourth ventricle throughout the cerebral aqueduct, and then from that is the fourth ventricle, it is connected with the central canal. So in this way, that is the ventricles, they are present, and the CSF which is circulated throughout that the ventricle. The CSF, it should be formed by the choroid plexus which is present into that the lateral ventricle and the fourth ventricle. So the CSF that is formed into that the lateral ventricle goes into the third ventricle throughout the foramen of Monro. Then from the third ventricle, it is enters into the cerebral aqueduct, and from the cerebral aqueduct, it is enters into that the fourth ventricle. Then from the fourth ventricle, the part of the CSF that is enters into the central canal of the spinal cord, and the remaining CSF or the fluid that should be enters into the subarachnoid space by the three opening which is present into that the roof of the fourth ventricle. That is the central opening, it is called the foramen of Magendie, and the two lateral opening, it is called the foramen of the Leschka. So let's see that is the detailed structure of the ventricles of the brain. So here in this diagram you can see that is the ventricular system. So this yellow color cavity, this is the lateral ventricle, then that is the sky color cavity, this one that is the third ventricle. The lateral ventricle is connected with the third ventricle by the interventricular foramen. So here you can see the interventricular foramen. Then the third ventricle that should be connected with that the canal like structure, that is the cerebral aqueduct, and the cerebral aqueduct then it is open into that the triangular cavity called the fourth ventricle, and this fourth ventricle that should be connected with the central canal of the spinal cord. Then first let's see that is the lateral ventricle, this one. So these are the two lateral ventricles present, one on each side of the cerebral hemisphere, and they are separated with each other by the septum pellucidum. Each lateral ventricle have the C-shaped cavity lined with the ependyma within each cerebral hemisphere. So for C, that is the C shape of the lateral ventricle, let's see that is the another diagram. So here you can see that is the C-shaped cavity here. So that is the lateral ventricle, this is the third ventricle, cerebral aqueduct, and this is the fourth ventricle. So the each lateral ventricle are communicate with the third ventricle by the interventricular foramen. So here you can see that is the interventricular foramen. Then let's see that is the parts of the lateral ventricle. So for descriptive purpose, the lateral ventricle, it should be divided into that the four parts. First, that is the central part, so this one. Then second, that is the anterior horn. So here you can see that is the anterior horn. Third one, that is the posterior horn. So this one. And the last one, that is the inferior horn. So this one. So that is the central part or the central horn, anterior horn, posterior horn, and the inferior horn. So let's see first, that is the central part. So this one. So the central part of the body is lies mostly within the parietal lobe of the cerebrum, and it extends from the interventricular foramen anteriorly and posteriorly to that the corpus callosum or the splenium of the corpus callosum behind. In the coronal section, it is seen as a triangular and presents the floor, roof, and the medial wall. So it shows that is the floor, it that is the roof, and the medial wall. So first see, that is the floor. So the floor of the lateral to medial side, it formed by the body of caudate nucleus, stria terminalis, and the thalamus. Then that is the roof. It is formed by the body of corpus callosum. And medial wall, it is formed by the septum pellucidum. Then the anterior lobe. So this one. So the anterior lobe, it is the extension of the central part into that the frontal lobe. So this one. And it lies in front of the interventricular foramen and behind the posterior surface of the genu of corpus callosum. It is also triangular in the coronal section and having the roof, floor, anterior, medial, and the lateral wall. So the roof of the anterior horn. So the roof, it is formed by anterior part of the body of corpus callosum. Then the floor, it is made by the rostrum of corpus callosum. The medial and the lateral wall are formed by the septum pellucidum and the head of the caudate nucleus. Then that is the posterior horn. So this one. So it is the backward extension of the central part of the occipital lobe, and in the coronal section it is shows the medial wall, lateral wall, the roof, and the floor. So that is the medial wall. It consists of the two convexities, that is the bulb of posterior horn, it is formed by the forceps major of the corpus callosum, and the lower one, it is made by the calcar avis. Then the roof means that is the upper part, the lateral wall, and the floor, it is made by or formed by the tapectum of the corpus callosum. Then that is the inferior horn, this one. So it is the largest horn and considered as the direct continuation of the main ventricular cavity into that the temporal lobe. Then in the coronal section, it forming the roof and the floor. So the roof, it is made by the hippocampus and laterally by the collateral eminence. Then the lateral part of the roof, it is made by or it is formed by the tapectum of the corpus callosum and medial part by the tail of the caudate nucleus. Then the choroid plexus of the lateral ventricle. On the medial aspect of the cerebral hemisphere, along with that the C-shaped line between the diencephalon and the hemisphere, the medial wall of the central part and inferior horn of the lateral ventricle are made up of only the ependyma, and the pie mater covering of the ependyma along with that the C-shaped line is invaginated by a finger-like tough capillaries of the blood vessel into that the central part and the inferior horn to form the choroid plexus of the lateral ventricle. And you know that is the function of the choroid plexus, that is the secretion of the CSF or the formation of the CSF. So that is the lateral ventricle. So the after completion of the lateral ventricle, let's say that is the third ventricle. So this one, pink color cavity, that is the third ventricle. So it is the cavity of the diencephalon, and it is a midline slit-like cavity situated between the thalami and the part of the hypothalamus. So you know here that is the thalamus is present, and here that is the hypothalamus is present, and between the thalamus and hypothalamus, that is this margin is present called the hypothalamic sulcus. So between these two structure, that the pink color cavity, it is called the third ventricle. Then it extends from the lamina terminalis anteriorly. So here you can see that is the lamina terminalis, this one. So anteriorly it starts from the lamina terminalis to the superior end of the cerebral aqueduct of the midbrain. So here that is the cerebral aqueduct. So from this region to this region that the total cavity is present, it is called the third ventricle. The third ventricle cavity, it is lined by the ciliated columnar epithelium and the ependyma and traversed by the adhesion which connected the two thalamus, that is called the interthalamic adhesion. Then the outline of the cavity, it is irregular due to presence of the several diverticuli or the recesses. So here you can see that is many regions, that is the recesses should be present. Then anteriorly on each side, the third ventricle communicates with the lateral ventricle through the interventricular foramen. So here you can see that is the interventricular foramen, or that is called the foramen of Monro, and posteriorly with the fourth ventricle by the cerebral aqueduct. So here you can see that is the canal like structure called the cerebral aqueduct. Then let's see that is the boundaries of the third ventricle. So anterior wall, so this one, the anterior wall, it is formed by anterior column of the fornix. So here you can see this is the fornix. So anterior wall, it is formed by the anterior column of the fornix. Then anterior commissure, so this one, anterior commissure. Then lamina terminalis, this one, and next to it that is the posterior wall, so this one. So posterior wall, it is made by that is the pineal gland. So here you can see that is the pineal gland or the pineal body. Then the posterior commissure and the commissure of the cerebral aqueduct. So here that is the posterior commissure and the commissure of the cerebral aqueduct. Then the roof, this upper part, it is formed by the ependyma that stretches across the upper limit of the two thalamus. So this one. Then the floor means this part. So it is made by the optic chiasma. So here you can see. Then the tuber cinerum. So this one, that is the tuber cinerum, and the infundibulum. Then the posterior perforated substance. So here you can see this is the posterior perforated segment, and the tegmentum of the midbrain. So this is the tegmentum of midbrain. So this is the floor of the third ventricle. Then the lateral wall. So the lateral wall, it is marked by a sulcus that is called the hypothalamic sulcus, extending from the interventricular foramen to the upper end of the cerebral aqueduct. So this one. The sulcus is divide the lateral wall into that the larger upper part and the smaller lower part. So this sulcus, it should be divided the larger upper part and the smaller lower part. So the larger upper part of the lateral wall, it is formed by the medial surface of anterior 2/3 of the thalamus. So here that is the thalamus is present. So at the medial surface of the thalamus, and the smaller lower part of the lateral wall are formed by the hypothalamus and continuous with the ventricular floor. So that is the hypothalamus and that is the ventricular floor. Then let's see that is the recess of the third ventricle. So that the cavity of the third ventricle, it extends into surrounding structure as a pocket like protrusion. So here you can see that the pocket light or the depression that should be present. So that is called the recess. So these are the several recesses which are forming or present into that the third ventricle. So first, that is the infundibular race. So infundibular race, it is the deep tunnel shaped races extending downward through the tuber cinerum. So here into the infundibulum, that is the stalk of the pituitary gland. So this one, so that is called the infundibular races. Then second one, that is the optic race. So this one. So it is the angular race situated at the junction of anterior wall and the floor of the ventricle just above to that the optic chiasma, means this race. So that is called the optic race. Then the anterior race. So this one. So it is a triangular race which extend anteriorly in front of the interventricular foramen. So here that is the interventricular foramen. And behind the anterior commissure, so this one anterior commissure, between diverging the inferior fornix or the column of the fornix. So this, it is the anterior race. Then the suprapineal race. So this one. So it is a fairly blind diverticulum which extend posteriorly above the stalk of the pineal gland. So this one. And below to the tela cordia. Then the pineal race, means exact this one. So it is a small diverticulum which extend posteriorly between the superior and the inferior lamina of the stalk of the pituitary gland. So this one. So that is called the pineal races. So in this way, that is the 5 races are related with that the third ventricle. Then the clinical application related with that the third ventricle, that is first it is the obstruction of the third ventricle. So the third ventricle being a narrow slit like space, so it is easily obstructed by a local brain tumor or congenital defect. The obstruction result in the excessive accumulation of the CSF inside the brain, that is increase the intracranial pressure in the adult and the hydrocephalus in the children. Then the second clinical point, that is the site of the obstruction can be found out by the ventriculography. So that is the investigation procedure through which that is the obstruction that should be identified.